This is QuickBooks Online. What we're going to do is we're going to click on Customers in the middle. And this will provide you with an overview dashboard. So it'll show you your customers at a glance. If you have any tasks, open estimates, gives you all these shortcuts, as well as just a look at all your invoices. You can customize this page as well and update the boxes that you're shown. We're going to click on Customers on the bottom left in the system. Now, to select the customer you're looking for, you can either click on them or you can search for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on JC Contractors. And you can see here, we've got their billing address listed, notes, they do bathroom remodeling, and if we had any other transactions or anything listed, we would have those here. And there should also be the opportunity to include tasks, conversations that you've had with them. So underneath JC Contractors, we have what we call a sub-customer. The sub-customer is the client. So the contractor brought us the client, George Lopez. So I'm going to click on George. And now underneath George, we have his address. And if we had any notes, we could enter that in here. And projects. So to create a project underneath George, so say we were doing his master bath, we're doing his kitchen remodel, any other projects against that, we could do add project. And you can enter in the project information here. So whatever the name is of the project. So for today, we're doing the master bath. Okay. So the project is in progress. If we had attachments, we could include those here. So if we have any kind of drawings, any measurements or schematics, we could upload those right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Add to Project on the right. And I'm going to create a project estimate. So these estimates can be customized. So we can change the look and feel of the estimate itself. We can add in the logo right here. All of this information would be changed and it would be tailored to your company. So as we go down, you'll see this is under the project master bath. We have the client's email address here, his billing address, and we have the estimate date, which is today's date. And now we're going to enter in our information. So this is going to be subway tile, and it will be black and white, 22 cases. Small. So you'd add in any descriptions that you have on that product or service. If it's self-explanatory and you don't need to include a description, you can keep it very simple. So as mentioned, we're doing 22 cases and our rate per case is $900. So if you had a markup percentage, you could include that here. If you had the rate that you buy the case at, which is $900, but you're selling it for $1,100, you could include that here. And then we're marking this as taxable because this is going to be a taxable service. So what you're going to do is go down to sales tax and create the New York sales tax so that it is applied correctly. Okay. So we can see that the sales tax rate is here and it's now included in the estimate total. We're going to include a note to the customer. Thank you for your business. Please email allthetile@gmail for any questions. Okay? And I'm just going to include a note for ourselves that we know that it's JC Contractors. They're doing a bathroom remodel. Okay, so from here we can review and send, which will send the estimate directly to the client email up here. I could save and close. I can save and new, just save. I can also print and download. So if I wanted to, let's say, download this and send it with our brochure and additional information, I can download it, package all that up together, send it off from my email, or I can do print just to see if I like the way that it looks. So we're going to take a look. All right, so now we've got our estimate. So you've got your estimate number, you've got your product or service, and it looks good. I'm going to close this out. Okay. And I'm actually just going to delete this second line because I don't want to show that on the estimate. I want it to look very nice and clean. So now you can see the second line's gone. Perfect. Looks good to go. So what I would do if this was our finished product, I would do review and send. And we can customize and update all of this. So this would change and it would be our information here. And we would send it out. So we could customize the wording if we'd like. However, this is just what we have set up in our settings right now as the body of the email. However, if you wanted to also include, please review the estimate below for your bathroom remodel, you could. And then you would do send estimate. Okay, and that would go out to the client. Now, let's say the client's called, so they've approved the estimate. You can click on this drop down here and mark as accepted. Okay, it was accepted by George, and it was accepted today. Yay! Okay. Now from here, we have a few different options. You can convert this estimate to an invoice right away. We can copy it to a purchase order. We could send the estimate or share the estimate link if we need to share this with JC Contractors or anybody else who needs to be aware of the project. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy to a purchase order. Okay. Now we need to get our tile from Pam. And we have her shipping directly to the client's address. So this is going to be job materials. And we have subway tile. Okay. And the amount is, because we're going to get it from Pam. We're getting the tile from Pam at a discount. So we're going to select George. And we're going to select his project, Master Bath. I'm going to say see email for rendering and measurements. Okay. And if I wanted to, I could just attach the renderings and measurements right here. Okay. And then I can save and close, save and send. If we had a hierarchy for approval, I could submit the approval here. For now, I'm just going to print so we can see the layout. Okay. So as I mentioned, all of this is customizable. We can change the way that it looks. We can change the columns that are shown up here. Okay. So you can change those things, but for today, we're just going to save and close. Okay. So now we've made our purchase order to purchase the material, and we have our estimate or contract that went out to the client. So for our purchase order, I'm going to open that back up, and we're going to copy this to a bill because we've now submitted the order to purchase the material, and now we actually have to pay for it as they're going to be delivering it. It transfers everything as is. So it says due on receipt for the terms. And I'm just going to click save and schedule payment. Okay. So if we have QuickBooks Bill Pay set up, you can just do it right through here. For now, I'm just going to save and close. Okay, so now you can see everything is stacking up underneath this project. So we've got our estimate, we have our PO, we have our bill. Now we need our invoice because we need to get paid for this work. So I'm going to click convert to invoice. Now I'm going to do the total of all of the lines. Okay. And I don't have anything to change. If I wanted to change something, like let's say they decided on medium tile instead of small, and now it's going to be a different price, I could change that here. However, for this purposes, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. So, project is as is. We've got our New York sales rate, bathroom remodel, thank you, have a great day. So I would do review and send, and this would send it over to the client. Okay, so as mentioned, in your QuickBooks, it will have your company name. It will have the paragraph that you prefer to see. Everything will be tailored exactly. So it goes to George's email, and you can see on the invoice, we've got the contractor, the client, and the project, and we have the product or services, the description, the quantity. Like I mentioned before, again, this screen is customizable, so we can change and tailor the way that that looks. So now we have the estimate, we have the purchase order, the bill for the purchase order, and the invoice. So everything for this job is now set. What we could do next is we could go ahead and once the bill pay is set up in the system, you could schedule online payment. But we're going to say that we paid them by check, right? So I'm just going to mark as paid and bill payment. We're going to do checking. Okay, this was the check. The check number is here. More memo. I'm going to save and close. Okay, so now this is paid. Our invoice is up, open, because we have 30 days for the client to pay the invoice. when they do decide to pay, you'd click Receive Payment. And you have the option to record how your payment was collected. So if they did it by credit card, we can click Charge New Payment, and you'd activate the credit card payments, and then you'd enter in their information. If it was they paid via check or ACH, you can enter in that information here. So we're gonna say it was check, and it was check number 124. And I'm just gonna say GL bathroom. Okay. Record and close. So now our invoice is paid in full. So we have our estimate, which was converted to an invoice. The invoice was created and it was paid. We have our purchase order, which was turned into a bill, and the bill was marked as paid. That is a quick overview of how to create an estimate, a purchase order, and an invoice all through one project. Now, once this project is completed, you're going to click on Completed up here. So that way it just keeps the system clean. Because when we go then to George Lopez, and you'll see there's no open projects. If I were to change the status to all statuses, you can see, okay, we had a project with him in the beginning of January and it's marked as completed. So that way you can keep the running list, but it doesn't bog down your system with a million open projects that you have to look through. You'll also see all the transactions here, so you can see what occurred. And that is pretty much it.